Welcome back to the Vault. Today's video is an interview with Major Robert Anzueto, who was the Major over the Special Operations Division, and Sergeant Justin Wall from the Professional Standards Division, better known as Internal Affairs. This interview takes place on May 20th of 2021. This entire investigation is regarding the arrest of Jeremy Dewitte on March 23rd, 2021, when he was arrested for carrying a concealed weapon. In the fall of 2019, Vidler and Ramsey got video from the Windermere Police Department and started going through the content to get charges together. It seems as though management had a problem with the number of charges accumulating and directed Sergeant Vidler and Corporal Ramsey to wrap the investigation up. On November 20th, 2019, Major Anzueto gave a directive by email to Captain Carpenter. The subject line read, "Active Case." Then it goes on to say that Major Anzueto had spoken with Chief Deputies Weig and Under Sheriff Canty, and they agreed that it was time to wrap up the investigation and charge Jeremy with whatever they had. In my opinion, it was strange that the more they dug, the more troublesome things became. They were given until the end of December to wrap the investigation up, and part of me wonders if they were worried what Sergeant Vidler and Corporal Ramsey might find if they kept digging. Let me know what you think. Don't forget to like the video and comment down below, share and subscribe. I just got a new feature through YouTube which allows you to support the channel, which you can see on the screen. If you would like to donate to the channel, you can do it through the thanks button. Thank you guys so much for watching. Motor 1 is rolling.
I'm Sergeant Justin Wall of the Orange County Sheriff's Office Professional Standards Section. Today's date is May 20th, 2021, and the current time is 12:55 p.m. This interview is being conducted at the Orange County Courthouse, located at
425 North Orange.
Thank you, 425 North Orange Avenue, Orlando, Florida. I'm interviewing. Can you just state your rank and name for me?
Major Robert Anzueto.
Also present in the room is Corporal Willie Robinson of the Professional Standards Section. Major Anzueto, are you aware that I'm recording this interview?
Yes.
Has anyone threatened, coerced, or offered you any preferential treatment to give this statement?
No, sir.
Are you under the influence of drugs or alcohol that may impair your testimony?
No, sir.
Can you raise your right hand so I can swear you in? Do you swear or affirm the testimony you are to provide will be true and correct?
Yes, I do.
Okay. So, as we discussed briefly, I'm conducting an investigation into some allegations that were brought forth by Mr. Jeremy Dewitte. And I'm conducting an investigation into the actions of Sergeant Keith Vidler and Corporal Ramsey in regard to some of the allegations that were brought forward. And your name has come up as being part of the overall investigation. So I just wanted to ask some questions about what you may know about this.
Sure.
Were you previously assigned to the Special Operations Division?
Yes, I was.
And you were as the major, correct?
Correct.
How long or what were the dates that you were assigned there?
It's going to be February 1st, 2019 is when I was first hired here and assigned to SOD, and continued in that role until October, I think it was 4th of 2020.
Okay. So you left about 6 months ago, 7 months
yes.
ago? Yes. Okay. So during that time, it's come to my attention that there was an investigation that was being conducted by specifically Sergeant Vidler and Corporal Ramsey in the Motors Unit in general against Metro State. So at your level, were there any directives regarding, or did you give any directives regarding Metro State?
There was a lot of directives given in a sense of what was done at that certain time. I can tell you that this case was brought to my attention numerous times when I was the major over SOD. And there was a time in the fall of 2019 where Sergeant Vidler and Corporal Ramsey received videotapes of certain cases, and they were reviewing those cases, and they were looking at charges for those cases. There came a time where this name kept on coming up, and I gave a directive saying, look, you have until a certain amount of time to get whatever cases you need to get and submitted to the state attorney's office, because it just seemed like one case after another kept on coming up. And when they did come up, whether negative or positive, viewing the Orange County Sheriff's Office, it kept on coming up with our agency and Jeremy Dewitte. So there was an email that I wrote to Captain Carpenter in November, if I'm referring to my email here, November 20th, 2019. It was addressed to Captain Carpenter from me. The subject line was active case. And I told Captain Carpenter I had discussed this with the undersheriff and Chief Deputy Zwig about this case. And I gave him a direct order saying, look, whatever cases that we have, we need to finish up and be done with those cases. No more going after him for any more cases pertaining to those videos, because it seemed like there was 3 cases, then there was 5 cases, and then there was 11 cases. And I'm like, when is this going to stop? How many cases are you going to bring forward? Get what you need to do and be done with this. And it ended up being that we gave him till the end of December to submit any cases that he had to the state attorney's office. And I said, and I did say, look, we're not going to turn a blind eye if, this guy comes and breaks the law directly in front of you. We have an obligation to do what we need to do to uphold the law. But we're not going to actively seek out and surveil him and try to catch him dirty. If something happened in your on view, then do what you have to do. But we're not going to waste any more time, actively looking to bring charges forth against Jeremy Dewitte.
Okay, and that directive was given to Captain Carpenter?
Yes, it was.
Okay. Did you ever speak with Sergeant Vidler directly, or was this more passed down through the chain of command?
We had numerous meetings. I can't recall exactly what was verbatim said in these meetings, but I know there was a meeting in my office with Corporal Ramsey, Sergeant Vidler, Captain Carpenter, and myself, and I think Chief Deputy Zwig attended that as well. And then there was a phone conversation when we were on conference call, and my directive was, look, stop what you're, stop actively pursuing. What you have is what you have. Finish it and submit it. And that was my directive at that point.
And that was around the same time as this email?
Yes, it was.
November 20th, 2019.
And I think it was reiterated in December as well.
Okay. Is that about when that same meeting that you're referring to?
Yes.
With Sergeant Vidler? Is that around
Yes.
the same time that occurred?
Yes.
Okay. Did you originally give a directive to conduct this investigation, or when you first got to the unit, was it already going on prior to?
I know that when I first came to the unit, or soon after, this case was brought to my attention. And I asked Keith Vidler to give me an overview via memo of what this guy is doing, what Jeremy Dewitte's doing, the Florida statutes that he was violating. And so Keith did provide me a memo, and this was September 23rd, 2019. And I told him he was fine with working this case.
Okay. And that was in September? And
Yes.
you
Yes,
have that memo to provide to me just for the audio
Yes, I do.
recording? Okay.
Yes, I do.
Okay. And you can make a copy of this for me as well
Sure,
as
absolutely.
this email you have?
Yes.
To Captain Carpenter? Okay. So I know you already kind of addressed it, but I just want to be clear. Did you give any directives to stop enforcing violations of the law by Metro State or Jeremy Dewitte?
I want to make sure I'm crystal clear on this. Sergeant Vidler presented numerous cases, and I was under the impression that there was a handful of cases, then the cases went to 5, and then went to double digits. And at that point, When they kept on piling these cases, I said, we're done. I don't want to go after any more cases. What you have is what you have. I don't want you to go through, 100 hours of video that was obtained either by search warrant or from Windermere PD from a previous case. What you have is what you have. Finish those cases out and submit them to the state attorney's office. I said, we're done going with more cases. But I didn't say if Jeremy Dewitte blows by you on his motorcycle, busting a red light, doing, an escort, to just turn the other way. We're not going to turn a blind eye to someone committing a crime in our presence.
Okay.
So it's kind of like a twofold directive. The directive of stop going after him with more and more cases. Yes, I did give that directive, and that was crystal clear in that email that I sent in November.
Right.
But I did not give him a directive of completely stop and turn a blind eye if he commits a crime in your presence.
Okay. And I know that you said you had a meeting with the undersheriff and Chief Deputy Zwig. Did that directive, was that given to you by somebody higher than you, or was that something that you had
I'm sorry, I was referring to some notes. Can you repeat the question?
So was that a directive that was given to you from the undersheriff or somebody above you, or was that your decision to conclude that?
No, that was discussions with Chief Deputy Zwig that we were done with those cases.
Okay.
And I know that there was discussions with the undersheriff. And I say meeting with the undersheriff, it was just going back with the Chief Deputy Zwig and the undersheriff in discussions about this case.
Okay. When you first got to the motors unit, was there
SOD, you mean?
I'm sorry. When Special Operations Division, and was there any suggestion about the motors unit working more investigations, not specifically to this, but working investigations into street racer details or the individuals that would come to Orange County a couple years ago, and they would shut down roadways on
like the ATVs and motorcycles. Yes,
was there a discussion about the motors unit working investigations into things like that?
I don't know if it was necessarily investigations, but it was working these details.
Okay.
But I don't remember specifically of assigning somebody to say, I want you to go undercover or work, the inside track of these organizations. I don't ever remember saying that, but I remember giving directives, we will be involved in some of these details.
Okay. As the motors unit would be?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Okay. Is there anything else that you know about this investigation you'd like to add?
No.
Okay. The current time is 1:07 p.m. and that concludes the interview.